That's right. So
that's my sauerkraut.
that's pretty. Look how bright and clear it is.
Isn't that pretty? Look how, no mold, no nothing.
Nothing at all.
It's absolutely perfect, isn't it?
Yes. You've had it out here how long? Since last?
It's since October. I'll have the date.
6 months, about 6 months now.
Let's see. October 4th
Yep.
was when I
So
made
we're
that.
coming up on 6 months.
But I kept it in the dark. See how careful I am? I'm Princess Granny. Turmeric is an anti-inflammatory. And so when you take turmeric into your body, it has the ability to take down inflammation. It also can target cells that are non-self cells or self cells that are errant. Now that's turmeric in a 2% brine, and it's ready to open. This is what it looks like when it is in the powdered dry form. And you'll recognize it as the coloring in mustard. This is what it looks like when it's fresh. Now fresh, here where I live, it's gonna cost you about $18 a pound. It looks like ginger. Now if you cut open ginger, ginger's pale. Because it's $18 a pound, when I peel it, I save the peelings. And it's organic when I buy it. And so this particular ferment is peelings. And it's still got the same nutrition. I mixed it with some ginger there. So we're going to do 2 different jars. And also I want you to know you can make turmeric tea, and we can do a different one on that later. It's called a bale jar. And these are Fidos, and they're not terribly expensive. They have different parts. They have a bale on them and a removable rubber lid. And the reason that you want to use these is because our friends that make this, is called lactofermentation. Our friends that do this, the bacteria changes from aerobic to anaerobic, which means from oxygen loving to no oxygen. And what happens is that there's a process that the bacteria actually morph right in the culture morphs, and it changes like cabbage to sauerkraut. It changes your vegetables to fermented vegetables. These vegetables can store 5 years. Now they have to be kept cool. So in days before refrigeration, they were kept in a pit in the ground and leaves and things around them.
Your root cellars.
Your root cellars, thank you. And nowadays you'd need like a second fridge for these. And you will see that on mine, I have an airlock. You don't have to have an airlock if you have one of these. I choose to do an airlock because it is foolproof. And you'd never get mold. As long as you have your percentage of brine right, you got the right water, as long as you're doing it right, you don't get mold with an airlock. And so you see these with an airlock. There's some that don't have an airlock. I've done them both ways. These other things that you see, this is beet kvass. Now you don't ever use metal in these. You use plastic.
Yeah, the salt would eat right through metal.
Well, and it leaves this taste that's really special. If you just get it a little bit wet, it'll go right in. Well, see, this is how the airlock fits in there. I can show you now while that still has 1 more minute.
Right.
Water that's purified, out ready to use. So this is how I'll fill that. And I fill it about half. And then I have glycerin.
Oh, glycerin, that's an idea.
Okay?
Okay.
And you can buy, it needs to be food grade. And then you're going to put up to this line, I'm going to add glycerin, because that way it keeps the water from evaporating. Now see, last year, I think I did a video last year and showed everybody my ferments. And I had 2 of them that I was really disappointed because I let the airlock go dry. And I've checked it all winter, and I have not had any of them even begin to go dry.
Yeah.
Do you want to explain it again?
Okay, sure. So, so imagine this was half full of water, and this would just sit in there on a bubble, and the air would be trapped under there, and so as gases come up through that hole, they will push the air down, and it will just kind of bubble out. Is that how you would say that?
Yeah.
Kind of like yeast. And so you put the cap on so you don't have too much.
Yeah, and it has
air.
little air holes.
And so it just kind of sits there and just bubbles, and those airlocks are really neat little things.
Yeah. So,
but they can't breathe. It will never suck air back in.
Right, and so it lets it be a non-oxygen environment. So the first thing that you want to do is clean your jar, and you'll pour in some vinegar, and just about a teaspoon, just a little bit, and then you're going to rinse the jar with the vinegar to get the soap out. And so you're just going to rinse that around. And you're going to just pour it out. Okay? Perfect. So now that jar is ready. Now the next thing that you're going to do is you just simply cut up your vegetables. Now these are my peelings. And you may not think, but at $18 a pound, they're worth something to me.
Exactly.
So any vegetable with this fermenting is no harder than this. You don't have to heat up your kitchen, and your vegetables will store. And you put in as many as you want. This is some garlic that was grown at Dirtpatcheaven. And look how beautiful, look how beautiful that is. And we're just going to put it in there. The reason I'm showing you this is I want you to see how simple it is. That's how you just get your vegetables prepared. This is a cabbage. I wanted to show you how you get a nice and fat. You cut the leaf here, and then you lift it. And I want to have a leaf that's whole. And notice how good I am at this. I'm pretty impressed.
Pretty nice.
How about that? So I'm going to use this to weigh down this, so that the little pieces don't float. I want you to notice how beautiful this is. Do you notice that there's no floaters? That's because I put the cabbage. It's just, don't overthink it. Just put your cabbage in. You're going to want to only have your liquid and your food up to where this starts to turn. See how that turns? And it's straight, and then it starts to curve. You only want it to come to there. This was a full quart. I took 1 cup out and put it in here. I use a product called Caldwell's Starter. Okay. And this is what it looks like. And you refrigerate it. You can see I marked. That's how I always do things. Let me know when I bought it. And it's in a powder.
So is it a yeast, or what is it?
It is beneficial bacteria that you want growing in your vegetables. It is not necessary.
Okay.
But I like mine foolproof. Do not use any tap water because it will have chlorine in it and other additives perhaps that will kill the bacteria. It's the difference between it working and it not. It simply won't work. Why bother?
Yeah.
Oh, I did a quart of 2% brine, and so I needed 19 grams of salt.
Okay.
So I'd like to show you how you measure your salt. And it's already set for grams because that would be the mode. And then I put on the jar, on the bowl, and I'm going to, it's called Tare, T-A-R-E. So it goes to 0. Then I always use canning and pickling salt with no additives. It only has sodium chloride. It's cheap and it's consistent. It's all you need. You don't have to have the expensive sea salt and all that everybody talks about. Then I'm watching to when it comes to 19. Okay? So do it by tablespoons because different salts have different specific density. Or in other words, they're heavier for their bulk. Shaking up good. Pour that in there. So now you see that we have
a quart of water and 19 grams of salt, right?
Yeah.
For a 2% mixture.
And look at what I got now. It's going to go right to there. And then I'm going to put these cute little gizzles in there. And I'm going to push them down.
Excellent.
And that's my weight.
What are those, little coasters or something?
These are called dunkets. But one of the things, I want you to see if you can get this right here. Can you get a picture of what that is?
Well, I think I got it in the...
That's that's a canning jar. And they're really inexpensive and they're food grade.
Like a little jelly
and
jar.
I like them the best. You see how that is? And then I'm going to come like this. And I'm going to go like that. And I'm done.
And then we're done.
We're done. Next thing we're going to do, and that one has got the airlock. You're going to leave this out on your counter, room temperature, not somewhere warm, like not above 80.
Right.
It's not like it's not going to go by your wood burning stove. You'll put it over, if you have to, in your living room. Mm-hmm. And this one I would put in another bowl or a pan, because it's not as foolproof as this.
Mm-hmm. So it could bubble out and make a mess.
I've not had that experience, but it's what I would do. 3 to 5 days you're going to leave it on at room temperature, and then you're going to take it to cold storage. Right now I can use my garage as that because it's a consistent 40 degrees. Mm-hmm. If you're going in the fridge, then you may want this smaller airlock, because then you don't have the height problem. You can see it will give you an extra 2 inches.
Yeah, good idea.
So that's another option there. So those are done. And I need to use this for something within 3 minutes. That's only good for 5 minutes. I mean 5 to 10 minutes. And then after that you can't use it. Okay, this one also has kale. It may have been collards. It's whatever I had in my garden at the time. Mm-hmm. Oh, that smells better. Now smell that. So let's taste this. That's a new spoon. I always use new spoons. Mm-hmm. I don't double dip in these things. Yes. What do you think? Okay, that's okay.
I think it tastes like pickles.
Yeah, it tastes like pickles.
Or a very mild sauerkraut.
Very mild sauerkraut. And that's what I would anticipate.
That's tasty.
But I have read, one of the reasons why I want to do this is because I have read that when you ferment turmeric, that is when the curcumin is really available to you. And so that's why I wanted to do this. I'll join you. We'll have a toast together.
It was really good.
That's yummy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, guys.
It tastes like a little, it's got an undertone of ginger. And then the texture of carrots. Yeah.
I want some more.
And the taste of pickles. Right?
I think it's a winner.
I think that was good. That was really good.
What do you think? Mm-hmm. And do you notice how it kind of goes up into your sinuses just a little bit? Like it's way healthy. Mm-hmm. Well.
Definitely good. Good job.
Okay.